Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat. Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat. Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat. Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat. Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat. Lift your spirit, fuel for your fire. Passionate words always untold. This is the place where you unfold. Just chat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Just Chat. I'm your host, Uncle Dominic. Today, we have encountered a little setback. Our guests aren't able to come to the show tonight, so we had a guest, but we are unable to have him to come onto the show. So it's just me. But our topic today is navigating through life's transition. And this is a great example because every day in our life, things happen, right? But let's set a statement first, okay? So we have to understand that life is full of transitions. Some are small, starting a new job, moving to a new city, but others are more significant or even bigger, like the loss of a loved one, a major career change. Regardless of any type of transitions we have, they all bring challenges and opportunities for growth. Now, we have to understand this because it all brings challenges and opportunities for growth. No matter what, whether you are a student, an adult, or someone who is just starting a new work or starting a new day, new job, whatever, there's always a challenge. Now, whether we encounter the challenge and go through it effortlessly is amazing, but some people will have to have a harder challenge, of course. Now, um, I think the best idea or the best tip to go through life's transition, right, to overcome these challenges is to always have an open mind. Having an open mind, meaning having, uh, you know, be willing to accept critiques, be willing to accept advices from others, even though sometimes it may sound like they are trying to attack us, I guess, or we don't feel good when someone gives us advice. But regardless of that, we have to understand that when we encounter challenges, sometimes we can have our friends or relatives or the loved ones to actually help us to overcome it. Now, best of all, is for students. To all the students out there, especially my students in my school, you have problems, you encounter problems, you are having a hard time trying to talk to your parents. Never mind. You can go talk to your teachers. Your teachers are willing to help you, no matter what. I mean, if you have problem and if you have problem that you think you can't talk to your parents, there are counseling office in school. They are willing to help you to grow and even give you some advice, right? Of course, if you're an adult, you do not have any of these resources, so we have probably end up have to spend money from a therapist. I mean, um, I think it's worth it to go to a therapist to overcome the challenges that we have. But of course, always try. other things first, like family or friends, right? Okay. I want to explain a few things before, um, especially especially when I move to a new jobs. Changing jobs is one of the hardest things, right? For example, when you change a new job, you have to be prepared to, how do we say, be prepared to have a backup idea to support you when you can't find a job, or you have some stones along the way that you have to step on it, and those stones actually stop your progress, or the emotions that you feel, especially the emotions that you feel when you encounter these problems. Most people actually, I would say everyone, the first time you encounter a problem, we always go to the negative. We always get angry. We always take the easiest path. But I feel like if we take this challenge or whatever that's approached us or came to us, with an open mind, you know, taking advices from people, we will actually be able to overcome things much quicker, actually much easier. There's a quote here by John C. Maxwell. It says, "Change is inevitable, but growth is optional." So you see, change will happen no matter what. The life it is that we are living right now, it keeps on moving. It doesn't stop. It's a fluid motion. It just keeps going. Um, so we can't stop and say, "Hey, wait a minute. Let me figure out how to overcome this puzzle or this challenge." I mean, this is not a game where we can just pause. You can't pause life. It goes in motion. So because of that, we have to accept it. We have to accept that change will happen. So change is inevitable, right? And so John Maxwell says, is inevitable. Growth is optional. So meaning we can make a choice by helping ourselves grow, right? There's another quote here. I'm unable to find who actually said it, but I like this, right? It says, "The biggest challenge in life is being yourself in a world trying to make you like everyone else." Again, I'll say it again. The biggest challenge in life is being yourself in a world trying to make you like everyone else. I mean, everyone wants to be someone important, someone successful. Even me trying to do this chat show as well. I've overcome oppositions. People are saying, "No, you're not gonna make it." Man, I take their advice. I have it, but I have to put into context what do I really want to do, and what I really want to do is at least put some positiveness outside, give what advice that I can, that from my head to anyone out there who are willing to listen. Um, maybe I actually help you from that, right? I'll give you an example. A long time ago, I think some of my friends or some people have mentioned this story plenty of time. I was riding my scooter to work one day. I saw a person having trouble with his scooter, and I was like, okay. So I stopped, talked to the person, and I said, "Hey, what's wrong?" The other person actually mentioned that his scooter actually ran out of battery. It's one of those electric scooter right now we have, the Gogoro. So it ran out of battery, and he's unable to push it because it doesn't move anymore. So I gave him the option. I said, "Hey, you know, I'm actually late. Actually, I think I'm go- actually I'm good. I think I will be late for work, but I felt like he needs help. If this was me, this is a working time, right? So people need help, obviously. So I feel like I should help because I could. So anyway, I stopped. I talked to him and found that he has this electric scooter problem. I offered him my scooter. I said, "You can ride my scooter, take your battery, go exchange it, and come back, and then you can head on. Should be no problem." He says, "Okay." So he took it. He took my scooter and he ran. And I stood there with his scooter waiting for him to come back. I think he took him about 10 minutes or so. And then eventually he came back and he changed his battery and he left. All right. So we can see this was an opportunity for me to laugh at him, or this is an opportunity for me to not help him and figure that I should help myself. I should keep going, right? And but instead, I thought that if I do help him, maybe I'll get something out of this. I'm not expecting a reward. I'm not expecting a reward. I'm not even a thank you, because he didn't even say thank you. And sometimes I think about it as like, oh, it's okay, right? I helped him. The whole purpose is I help him, and I feel good about it. There's a feeling that I get, right? Um, People always said we can. Well, there's a saying. There is a saying. You can, if you move forward in life, you accept the risk, you take two steps forward. But if you want to not take the risk and move back, you actually take one step forward. So again, if there is a risk in front of you and you took it, you actually take two steps forward, right? But if you decide not to do the risk, not to take it, you avoid it or you move away. You actually take one step forward. So in this case, you're listening to two positive things already. You do the risk, you take two steps forward. You don't do it, you still take one step forward. So what does that mean? How does it apply? It just pretty much means like what I said earlier. Change is inevitable. Change is emotion. The life is going. Our life is keep moving. There's nothing stopping it, right? It's just how we feel and how we control our feelings and emotions, and especially the way we think. We can make things work for us. Okay, so here's a famous quote from. I have to look. I have to use a bunch of quotes today because we don't have a guest today. So I'm going to use some quotes from people that I read about or heard about that can actually help us to overcome life's transitions. Right, can inspire us maybe. All right. So here's one. This is from Steve Jobs, right? We all know Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, right? Everyone loves him, right? I think so, right? Anyway, so here's his quote. He says, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you will know when you find it." So this is kind of like inspiring us to go forth and do it. But I do want to look at this thing here. It says, "If you haven't found it yet, keep looking." So our life is a constant motion. We're getting challenges and we're getting walls put up in front of us. People throw pebbles in front of us, put nails on our car, or anything bad that can happen. Like you walk out and you get up in the morning and you spill the coffee, right? Things like this happen. Um, Steve Jobs says, don't settle, right? Don't settle. Keep looking, keep finding what you really want. Um, Eventually, you find it. And then when you find it, it all matters, right? Um, there's a song that I've been it's been in my head for a couple of days, right? And I use this song with some of my students, and I actually talked to my friend. This song is called "The Girl," right? So it starts with "There's a girl, and I let her get away," right? Oh, that one, that song. I'm pretty sure you guys all know it, right? So the whole sentence is the first two sentences, right? There's a girl, but I let her get away, right? So what does it mean? I'm not saying a girl or woman or it's an object. I'm saying opportunity is there, we let it go. I mean, I mentioned this to my students sometimes. We can be embarrassed for a couple seconds or a couple minutes, but those embarrassment only last for a couple minutes. Where else um, regrets of not trying, it's painful. It is painful. There is a show, an episode of a show. Um, it's called the Full Time Wife Escapist. Full Time of Escapist, right? So this girl, I forgot her name. This wife, they're actually pretending to be husband and wife. The whole idea, they're pretending to be husband and wife. because of social norms. Social people get married here. They just got married because everyone's doing it, right? So it's just thought of a way to do it. So anyway, this guy actually start liking this girl, and this girl actually start liking this guy. So they both like each other. But the problem is, she's sitting next to him. She's thinking, I should hold his hands. But if I hold his hands, all kinds of problems gonna happen. He's gonna say this or she's gonna say that. And so what can we do? Right? What can you do? So he on the other side felt the same way. He thought that this was the time that I should actually talk to her, hold her hands. But I'm scared. And he's thinking, he's scared. I'm scared and scared and scared. What can I do? So eventually, just the last minute before they got off the train, you know, and she had tear in her eye. She says, "This is it." She really want to hold his hand. She really want to make it work, but because of all the obstacles that's happening, all the walls that it's been put up, she's afraid. She's afraid, and he eventually grabbed her hand because that moment is just like wow. you know all of us are going to have that moment, especially when there's plenty of walls being put up around us, right? When I say walls, I mean some things like some obstacles, some hardships that we have. I mean, some of them are really hard, like the loss of your loved ones. um I had my dad passed away many years ago. um it was super difficult for me to get over it. I mean, you cannot get over it. It's just, how could you get over someone you love that just passed away, right? It's almost impossible. But what changes? It took me a couple years, but what changes was I have to accept that it has happened. I have to accept that it has happened and move on from there. And that's what it is. We accept the change has happened, transitions has happened. Why do we, you know, why do we worry about things that has already happened when we can focus on the future? Okay, so this is quote. This is a Chinese, very Chinese traditional quote by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. I think Lao Tzu. Yes, he says, "Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow." You see, if did not accept that my father has passed away, the sorrow that I felt, the guilt that I felt, keeps on building on and building on and building on. It takes, it's actually hurting me way more than a lot of things. So I have to figure out, I have to accept it, that it happened. It happened, then move on. That's all it is. It happens, we move on. But because if I don't accept it, it's just gonna keep hurting, right? So allowed to keep saying, let reality be reality. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they liked. So it happened. Just let it flow. And as we let it flow, we not only understand that we are actually getting, actually experiencing growth, we are actually getting better. Okay, so these are some feelings and emotions that I felt myself, and these some things that I think all of us can improve on. All right, but here's an idea. Every morning, the best way to overcome transition, I mean, overcome life's challenges, is to wake up. When you wake up, the first thing you should be thinking is to be accepting whatever is going on, and saying to yourself, it's going to be a great day today. I mean, things are going to happen, but it's going to be a great day today. And when you say that to yourself, or when you feel that to yourself, I mean, lots of good things are going to happen. I, I know, because it happened, because I tried it a couple of times and it felt like a lot of good things that's going to happen. But then Here's another thing. When you start to think a lot of good things are gonna happen, there's gonna be new walls being put up in front of you, new things happening that you might not like it. And when that happens, are we just gonna, you know, accept it, or are we just gonna worry about it, be annoyed about it, get angry about it? I'm sure we can get annoyed by it, but there's nothing's gonna change. It doesn't gonna change a lot of things. I'll give you an example. Last Sunday, just this recently, because today is Tuesday, so just pretty much 2 days ago, um, I was riding my scooter around, right? Um, Another scooter cut in front of me, so I had to brake my scooter. I had to brake, and when I brake, another scooter from behind me actually bumped into my bike. The first thing that goes through my mind is that, oh no, right? So let's go through the procedure again one more time. I was riding, a bike cut in front of me, and I brake, and I'm like, oh goodness, my mind. I'm pretty sure I still remember that instant. I felt like, oh, a sense of peace because I did not hit the scooter that actually cut in front of me, but another scooter hit me from behind. When that happened, I'm like, oh no, not again. So what should I do? Should I get down from my scooter and get angry and yell at the person? I could do that. I would do that most of the time. But I feel like, no, it's gonna ruin me if I start get angry. Because there's a wall that just happened to be in front of me. I will ruin myself more. I will be unhappy the rest of the day. So instead, I got on my scooter, took a look at the damage that has been done. And there was damage, but I didn't think it was that big of a problem. I told the guys, it's okay, just forget about it. And I was gonna go. Now, I was hoping, of course, obviously, I was hoping that guy would apologize, but he didn't. He actually started blaming me, saying it's my fault. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. It doesn't matter, right? If I dwell on this, that's the way I was trying to look at it for earlier. If I dwell on this problem, it makes my life even more miserable. We should not dwell on this problem. Should not keep move on, right? Okay. Um, my last piece of advice that I think we can all learn, especially when things happen that's out of our control. One, we should focus only on what we can control. Let go of things that we can't, right? And we have to believe and trust that it will work out in the end. I mean, if it doesn't work out in the end, technically, it shouldn't be entirely our fault. It should be more like we can only do things that we can do on our part, but not someone else's part. Okay. And learning from experience, all these are experience. If we all learn from these experiences, we actually help us be better. I think improve and get stronger, and and understand that everything that happens will happen, and it is part of life. And with patience, self care, support from family and friends, and counselors in schools or teachers, we can navigate through them successfully. Again, let me rephrase that again. Say it again one more time. All these transitions or all these challenges that happens in front of us, all these walls and setbacks that's happened to all of us in front of us, are a natural part of life. With patience, self-care, support from family and friends, or counselors from school or teachers, we can navigate through them successfully. Okay, I think that's all I can think about for today, for navigating through life's transition. I hope you guys enjoy this short episode. Hopefully, you guys can all learn a little bit something from this, and hopefully, I did as well. I'm pretty sure I did as well, because as I say things to you, I'm learning this as well and putting this firmly in my brain, so I know what I should actually do when I'm overcome with walls or challenges. So, and that's it for today. Thank you all for coming to watching Just Chat. And I'm your host, Uncle Dominic. Hopefully, next time, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go onto our Facebook page, Twitch, Twitter, or even YouTube. Give us comments, give us likes and subscribe to us. Help us grow, help this channel grow so we can bring more and more content to you, and we can even try to get even more guests to come and talk so we can explore this world of full of potential positiveness that we can find that can help each one of us grow. Thank you again all for coming. Please like and subscribe and share. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Before we leave, we got to play our ending song. Here's our ending song.
This is the place where you will fall. Just chat.
All right, goodbye, guys.
Lift your spirit, you your fire. Passionate words.